Yo, YouTube, what's up? And welcome to the first episode of Producing the Culture. I'm your host, Versace. That is Bersaxce. Why? Because I don't want to get sued. That's why. Here I am to break down the cultural ideas, events, and references in media and other popular forms of expression. Basically, I'm going to observe, research, and comment on different samples of movies, television, events, and music and locations. Explaining not only what the creators did, but even some of the business behind it. Please note, 86% of all opinions expressed here are personal views from a young black male with college education, public school learning. With that in mind, let's get into it. And also, as a second note, this is not sugar-coated for preschoolers. In other words, think of this show as a passively aggressive high schooler or a PG-13 movie with a couple of cuss words in it. Alright, so if you just catch me saying shit, damn, fuck, or whatever, ouch. Because I gave you a warning. Now let's get into it. Today's culture is Get Out. Otherwise called Get the Fuck Out Before They Kill You, Stupid. The scary movie with a social commentary written by the comedian or the black film with I Told You So as the main plot point. But do not decide which one just yet. First, let me be politically correct. Get Out is the brainchild of Jordan Peele. He's the screenwriter, the producer, and director of this cultural milestone and blockbuster. It was distributed by Blumhouse Productions. You might know them for their scary movies such as Happy Death Day, You Should Have Left, Sinister, Insidious, and the like. And back to Jordan Peele, he did everything in this almost, except for being an actor in it himself. This was a minuscule investment by movie standards, but huge by my pockets. $4.5 million. That earned him $255.4 million since its release 4 years ago. That's like getting a return of $56 for every $1 spent. Now that's what you call flipping the product. The film has won several awards, including an Oscar and 3 from the NAACP. Now let's get into a quick recap for anybody not in tune to this cultural milestone. Our unlucky brother, my bad, Chris, is about to meet the family of his white girlfriend. Shortly after arriving, he is deceived by his neo-slave owners, as he is inspected, prepped, and auctioned off. Through determination and urban logic, he escapes with his best friend, Rod, the real MVP, most valuable black person. Now that all the spoilers are out of the way, let's get into it. I'm going to discuss like 5 main themes here, including some stereotypes, politics, sports, stylized of the film, and horror satire. As far as some of the stereotypes, the black people in this horror movie are smart, but they're flawed characters. Dre comments on the bad city planning, like Black Forest Road, Black Forest Lane, Black Forest Drive, all of them right next to each other. Why? And he attempts to avoid capture when he sees a suspicious vehicle. Just stop and park and follow him. Rod, he suspects a trap and warns his friend. And even then goes through investigative techniques to track down Chris's location. Chris, he uses critical thinking to free himself and weaponize his phone to stop the grandfather. However, he accepts the women of the Armitage family as innocent and falls to deception, not once, but 3 times. And Rod is portrayed as a fool. Other noticeable stereotypes include black men are athletic beasts, black beauty is straight hair, black men are sexually blessed, good black men are in relationships with white women, and the white maiden is always innocent. Now, jumping over to some of the American politics presented in this film, the evil white power is the main villain of the story. The white police officer treats Chris like a suspect instead of a victim. The rich people holding the secret slave auction at a bingo event, which is also another money game, believe that only under control of white people can black people possibly reach their full potential. This philosophy hints at Nazism. World War II is a huge historical reference point, where the father mentions Adolf Hitler in the 1936 Olympics. A man of Asian descent is seen at the party as a willing participant, just like the Japanese involvement during the war. Chris wears blue like a Democratic Party, while all the other guests wear red like Republicans. The cop harasses Chris is a system that blacks are very familiar with. Even Rod's encounter with police is a waste of effort, as they all just laugh at him and take him as a non-joke. Obama's election doesn't hide or erase racism. In sports category, there are multiple references here. The concept of competition and betterment is a constant theme. Improving oneself is a basic natural quality. The 1963 Olympics, as aforementioned, Hitler saw his white people or superior race. The grandpa locks his basic motivation for the Craigula or the Get Out challenge. Why? Because he sees other people as better than him. He gives up. He says, if I can't do it, I'm going to make him better. The whole Armitage family, they're hunting animals. Rose and her family, they hunt both deer and black people. Jeremy is obsessed with strength. He loves wrestling and mixed martial arts. Croquet is a savage murder weapon inside the film, but is a sport of high society. Now let's get into some of the style notes. The musical score, oh my God. Let me just recognize some of the people involved in this masterpiece. Michael Abrams, Philip Brandon, Daru K. Ferrer, Childish Gambino, aka Donald Glover. Really though, each track weaved into this story, tribal chants, orchestral sound, and pop music become teacups for the audience. Moving past the teacups, there are other forms of hypnotism in this film. The movie itself sends you into a trance. The first viewing engrosses you in the plot and characters. After understanding the basic themes presented, a second watching provides a treasure trove of Easter eggs and subliminal messaging. Thanks to that, I have content to share with you here on this podcast. The greatest film is that could show different people unique perspectives that can be validated. Every major twist is shown in two lights of expectations and realities. Rob feels like an idiot, but his deductions and efforts pay off. The empathetic Rose acts like an ally, only to hide a cunning psychopath inside. The whole film is a film littered with contrasts and subversions. Now, let's talk about some of the satire and horror tropes here. It sounds like a recap because I've used some of these examples before, but please bear with me. Jordan Peele and his team of movie makers need the honor and the tribute for the whole genre. The jump scares, the social media stalking, first victim helps the last survivor, traditional help is useless. All these tropes and more are seen within the film. It does get bloody towards the end and climax, but traditionally speaking, this movie goes more to the creep factor of society. That's where the horror comes in. It's a vibe. Some people recognize the horrors going on today, while others will be just terrorized by the fantasy implications alone. Just like the movie poster, things seem to be fine, but you gotta know when to listen to that voice and get out. But don't worry, I'll do a script on the sequel. Thank you for enjoying the first episode of Producing the Culture.